Tonight on Cronkite News, the Phoenix Rising go across country to face the Charleston Battery in the USL Championships.
Plus, meet the member of the U.S. national hockey team that's making history on the ice and hoping to see more girls that look like her grow the game.
And in light of the upcoming Veterans Day holiday, cities all across the country are honoring veterans in this special way. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Beatrice Martinez.
And I'm Paul Schultz. Thank you for joining us.
The Phoenix Suns hit the road to take on the Chicago Bulls last night.
This was Bradley Beal's debut in a Suns uniform, and wow, this game had its highs and lows. Phoenix brought the Valley Heat to the Windy City, leading by as many as 18 in the first. Yusuf Nurkic had a solid 20 points and 17 boards, but the Suns found themselves tied at the half. Kevin Durant, another 25-plus point night, finds Grayson Allen, who was lights out. He had a career-high 8 three-pointers and led Phoenix in scoring with 26 points. Chicago put up a fight, sending it to overtime, but the Suns sealed the deal with their 8th straight win over the Bulls, 116-115.
Speaking of another team that put up a fight, the Phoenix Rising shocked spectators with an impressive performance against top seed Sacramento Republic and will now advance to the USL Championship game for the 3rd time in team history. The last time the Phoenix Rising made a USL Championship appearance was in 2020, but was canceled due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Juan Guerra, who took over the head coach position in August 2022, has trusted the process and is now giving his team a shot to bring home that championship trophy.
The process was successful. The journey has been successful and very, very difficult as well. And it has led us to a final. So now we have the responsibility to go out there and push all the way and put together a good game plan that hopefully gives us a good result in the game to win a final.
The Phoenix Rising will face Charleston Battery in the final round on Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Sun Devil men's hoops kicked off the season in Chicago at the Barstool Sports Invitational against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and let's just say it wasn't their best season debut. The Bulldogs bulldozed through the Sun Devils from the start. Arizona State was down by as many as 25. ASU's Louisville transfer Kamari Lands led the Devils in scoring with 13, and veteran Frankie Collins added 10. But the Sun Devils couldn't close out the deficit, losing this one 71-56. We'll see if the Sun Devils can get their first win at home in their home opener this Saturday at 1:30 p.m.
The Arizona Cardinals take on the Atlanta Falcons this weekend in what will be a homecoming for the visitors' star running back. Bijan Robinson attended South Point Catholic High School just down the road in Tucson. He'll be back in State 48, only this time wearing an NFL uniform. Cronkite sports reporter Ryan Bonnell has more.
If you're an Arizona sports fan, chances are you've heard of the name Bijan Robinson thanks to his dominant days at South Point Catholic High School.
2,500 kids have gone through the program. You know, I had 4 kids make it to the NFL and you know, 1 first-round draft pick and 1 who really is a star, 1 in 20 years. So, you know, the odds are overwhelmingly against these kids to make it because it's so difficult.
Robinson defied those odds when the running back was selected 8th overall by the Atlanta Falcons in the 2023 NFL Draft.
He could go 0 to 100, 100 to 0, right? So he could stop, move, maneuver through little holes. And then, you know, his vision is uncanny. Like he's able to set things up before they even happen.
Bijan Robinson holds the all-time Arizona high school football record with 7,036 career rushing yards and 114 career touchdowns. This weekend's Falcons-Cardinals matchup marks the first time that Bijan will be back playing football in Arizona since his days at South Point Catholic High School. After graduating as the state's all-time leading touchdown scorer, Robinson's football journey took him to the Lone Star State, where he would win the 2022 Doak Walker Award given to the best running back in the country while playing at the University of Texas.
You know, and he's a big believer in like, this is, for him, this is God's plan. He says that, he believes in that, and so it wasn't about where am I going. You know, for him, it was just, what a blessing.
During his time as a Longhorn, Robinson went from being locally known to regionally known to nationally known as a top 10 NFL pick. Based on his work ethic during his time in Arizona high school football, his former coaches aren't too surprised his hard work paid off.
Him willing to do all of the extra things is, I think, really what propelled him to the great career that he's having, you know, and he's continually done that. I mean, he was a tremendous worker before I started coaching him. And then just to see how willing he was to do all the little things.
Now, even as a starting running back for the Atlanta Falcons, Robinson continues to stay in touch with his Arizona roots.
Every once in a while, I'll throw him like, hey, like, what's the goal today? 500 yards rushing or something like that, just as like a joke, because like I used to tell him that in high school. And then he would very well just go do it.
Although Bijan was repping the Cardinals red and white as a youngster, the running back will be on the opposing sideline this Sunday. In Tempe, Brian Bunnell, Cronkite News.
After locking in manager Torey Lovello for another couple years, D-backs general manager Mike Hazen turns his attention to other off-season moves. Hazen was at the general manager meetings in Scottsdale this week and says he's looking to the free agent market rather than seeking trade opportunities. Here's a look at the contract status for some of the D-backs' key players. Let's start with the pitchers. Gallen, Kelly, and Fott are all locked up for another couple of years, though Kelly only through 2024. Ketel Marte is here to stay for another few seasons, as is Moreno. And rookie Corbin Carroll just signed that huge $111 million contract extension last spring. Here's who's up for grabs. Gurriel Jr., Longoria, and Tommy Pham are all on the free agent market. Hazen says he too will be hitting the market hard.
You still have to be aggressive, and you still have to be able to go out there and lay it out there sometimes. Like, it is what it is. It's being able to go out and acquire players is a big piece to formulating championship teams. And we're going to do what we can to continue to improve this roster any way we can. And that involves both trades and free agency.
Last night, Mullet Arena played host to Game 1 of the 2023-24 rivalry series as the U.S. women's national hockey team battled Canada. It was the USA's first game since they won gold at the 2023 IIHF Women's World Championship in April. And in the first of 7, the USA did not disappoint. Goaltender Aaron Frankel was lights out, holding Canada to 1 goal along with 35 saves on the night. Hillary Knight put the U.S. on the board first with 8 seconds left in the first period. The game was tied at 1 with less than 5 minutes to go until Taylor Heisey found the back of the net to regain the lead. Under 2 minutes to go, Alex Carpenter added the exclamation point with a backhanded score as the United States captured a 3-1 victory.
You love to see that for the U.S. team. They're really setting the tone, getting that first win of the series. The two teams will play again on Saturday in Los Angeles, followed by 5 more games either in the United States or in Canada. One player is expected to make a big impact in this series for the U.S. in many ways. Sophomore forward at the University of Wisconsin, Layla Edwards.
Trey Matthew joins us to share his experience with the groundbreaking athlete.
Trey, how did it feel to sit down with someone breaking barriers in the sport of hockey?
Well, it's definitely something I don't take for granted because history will be made within the next few days as Layla Edwards is projected to make her season debut on Saturday in Los Angeles. She'll become the first African-American to skate for the U.S. senior women's national team, and I had the chance to talk to her on her journey in hockey and how she hopes to grow the game. Growing up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, where did hockey begin for you?
Hockey began for me at the local recreational center that my dad grew up skating at, and then he got me and my siblings into it and kind of just grew from there. I always played hockey for fun growing up with the boys, but I think I realized that I wanted to take this thing far when I was about 10 or 11, and I started to travel more for hockey. I was like, okay, this can take me far.
You are going to become the first African-American to skate for Team USA women's national team. What does it mean to break the glass ceiling and be the first to do something?
Yeah, it's an honor. I'm super excited and I'm very proud, but it would have been nice for this to happen a little sooner, but right now it is what it is. So I'm great that I can hopefully be that role model for the next one right after me and then after her. And I just hope that this barrier break allows an overflow kind of thing.
Obviously, every athlete has to overcome some sort of obstacles. Being one of a few African Americans in a predominantly white sport, what were some of the obstacles and challenges you had to overcome?
I would say just going to rinks and not really seeing anyone that looks like you and no one in the locker room that looks like you, which was, I'd probably say it's a little bit uncomfortable and, people whispering and kind of looking at you weird. Or sometimes, I'd walk into a rink, I'd ask what the locker room was, and the people working there would say, oh, the basketball, court's over that way. And I'm like, no, I'm here for hockey. So I think those little microaggressions and things were a bit of an obstacle growing up, but I've become more comfortable with it and in myself. My older sister, who I play with in college at the University of Wisconsin, Shayla, she's always been in my corner. She's taught me lessons, especially like you said, and you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt too often. Just in growing up and learning from her, and she's been very, very supportive in helping me learn that and realize that.
I always say that role models are essential. So my personal role model is Everett Fitzhugh, who is the play-by-play announcer for the Seattle Kraken. He became the first African-American NHL announcer, and it's always important to have representation. So how are you going to use your platform to try to get more African-Americans involved in the sport of hockey, or just people of color in general, so that way we see more diversity in this sport?
I would say, I understand it can be a little discouraging, not to see many people look like you, but, I'm hoping that I inspire the next, young woman of color that, she's there, so it is reachable and it is possible. So kind of just, motivate them and inspire them to work as hard as they can to get to that level.
Nice stuff, Trey. And coming up next, we take a deep dive into aquatic sports. What it takes for these athletes to be the best at a mentally and physically challenging sport.
Plus, a beautiful weekend headed our way, what we can expect over the Veterans Day holiday when we return.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
This is CN2 Go. I'm Emily Olson with your Wednesday news briefing.
Do you want to create innovative content for Cronkite News? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Then CN2 Go is for you. Cronkite News to Go is a podcast where students cover the latest headlines. Students become audio producers and hosts and will learn how to write, record, and edit stories. You can listen to the latest episodes on these platforms.
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. Getting started in a new sport as an adult is never easy, but a group from Los Angeles is doing their part to get all levels involved in beach volleyball. Santa Monica Beach Volleyball Group started a little over 2 years ago with the purpose of having adult-only lessons for all different levels, 5 days a week with multiple classes each day. Participation has rapidly grown throughout the years, and classes are held all year round. Charlotte Wasserstein, the founder and owner of Santa Monica Beach Volleyball, is very proud of the community she has created.
I found that the sport is not only amazing as an athletic endeavor, it also provides an incredible opportunity to form community. And that's really what these classes have done. It, takes away the barrier to entry into a very intimidating sport and lets new people try it and enjoy themselves together and have fun.
From beach athletes to water athletes, these swimmers can really do it all.
That's right, and Cronkite News reporter Danny Stepanovich visited a Cold Valley lake to see how endurance swimmers train for their lengthy races.
When you think of the sport of swimming, you probably think of Olympic pools and gold medals, but some swimmers prefer to take their talents to the open waters. I recently got to speak with some of these athletes and see them in action here at Saguaro Lake. Before the dock even opens at Saguaro Lake, a dozen or so swimmers start their weekend in sandals and wetsuits well before the crack of dawn.
That's it. A lot of races, they start really early. You have to get used to, knowing that you're going out there and it's a little bit dark.
Most of these swimmers train 4 days a week in a pool, but the murky lake water is a different challenge from their typical workout.
How deep is the water? What's touching me? Ooh, this is really gross, because you have to step into like things that your feet sink into, and it's kind of slimy.
And once swimmers push off,
they say just keep swimming.
Sometimes for 2 to 3 miles.
I love the surroundings. I love we come out here early and I love the sunrises. I love being out in the middle of the lake, just feeling just free. You just feel so good to be swimming.
While a wetsuit is needed for most, the chilling 50-degree lake is perfect for long-distance swimming. Open water swimming may seem mindless, but stroke by stroke, kick by kick, and mile by mile, swimmers are perfecting their technique.
I'm constantly thinking about, is my hand in the right position? Am I coming over the top? Is my feet, am I kicking? Am I kicking too much? Because you got to save your legs for bike and runs.
Saguaro Lake is a popular place to train because swimmers can use the string of buoys as checkpoints to practice swimming straight.
I've known people to get in the water on race day and have never used their wetsuit, have never swam in open water, and they just freeze because it's just such a different feeling than swimming in the pool.
2 hours and a few miles later, they're leaving the lake behind until next week. Arizona is home to one of the most popular open water swim events, the Scar Swim, which starts here at Saguaro Lake and takes swimmers across 4 lakes for a total of 40 miles of swimming. Here in the cold waters of Saguaro Lake, I'm Danny Stepanovich, Cronkite News.
Well, Paul, it may be too chilly to go for a swim, but it will be beautiful outside.
Evan Reiser joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
All right, guys, as we take a look right now, we'll see it just a tick over 70 at 71 degrees, but we will see it cool off through the night. We'll even get into the mid-60s, 66 at 9 p.m. and 64 at 10 p.m., which leads me into what can we expect in the month of November? Well, it's a beautiful month, an average high of 76 degrees, an average low of 54. So maybe think about putting on that jacket in the morning, but we don't see too much rainfall, just about a ½ an inch throughout the month. Looking at tomorrow's low temperatures, we can see a low of 53 here in Phoenix, 19 cold up there north, 19 degrees in Flagstaff and up at the Grand Canyon. And as we take a look south, 47 degrees in Tucson and 37 down in Tombstone. Now, tomorrow's high temperatures, nothing over 80 degrees, a comfortable 78 degrees here in Phoenix, 53 in Flagstaff and 54 up at the Grand Canyon, 75 down in Casa Grande and 74 in Tucson. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in the Valley. 78 degrees as the high tomorrow with the sun out. Sun will stay out all weekend as we get into the 80s. 81 degrees on Saturday and 85 degrees on Sunday. Sun should stay out through Monday, but then we'll see those clouds roll in on Tuesday. 86 degrees on Tuesday, and then we may see some light rain through the back half of the week. 30% chance of rain on Wednesday, 50 on Thursday, and 20 on Friday. In the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Evan Reiser.
After the break, we'll have your top news headlines, including the agreement for a humanitarian pause in Gaza.
That's right, B. We will also take a look at the 2 tentative contract agreements that put an end to week-long strikes. Emily Mai joins us now in the newsroom.
Thanks, Paul and Beatrice. Coming up next, I'll have the latest on those 2 stories. And also, what scientists believe to be the cause of the record-breaking heat and powerful natural disasters we experienced worldwide this past year.
CN to Go. I'm Emily Olson with your Wednesday news briefing.
Do you want to create innovative content for Cronkite News? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Then CN to Go is for you. Cronkite News to Go is a podcast where students cover the latest headlines. Students become audio producers and hosts and will learn how to write, record, and edit stories. You can listen to the latest episodes on these platforms.
I'm Emily Mai with a closer look at the latest headlines. The White House said today that Israel has agreed to a daily humanitarian pause so Palestinian civilians can escape the fighting in northern Gaza. That means Israel will pause military operations for 4 hours every day. President Biden asked the Prime Minister of Israel for the daily pauses earlier this week, and he asked for the pauses to last at least 3 days. But President Biden also said there's, quote, no possibility of a formal ceasefire right now. Back here in the U.S., the Hollywood strike is finally over after the unions representing actors and the big studios reached a tentative agreement. Actors celebrated the deal that was reached late yesterday after nearly 4 months on strike, which means thousands of actors can get back to work. Members of SAG-AFTRA were fighting for better wages and protections on the use of artificial intelligence. Earlier today, SAG's president, Fran Drescher, talked about the new agreement on CNN.
It is historic, and we got so much important stuff and improvements financially in so many different places that I feel like we all in our negotiating committee slept much better last night than we have in months.
And in other strike news, the Culinary Union reached a tentative contract agreement with Caesars Entertainment to avoid further strikes on the Las Vegas Strip. After 6 months of bargaining sessions, Caesars Entertainment says the union will, quote, see meaningful wage increases that align with our past performance, along with continued opportunities for growth tied to our future plans to bring more union jobs to the Las Vegas Strip. If you see government buildings lit up in green, you may think it's for St. Patrick's Day. But in cities across the country this week, those green buildings are meant to honor veterans. Alexandria Cullen explains why from our Washington bureau.
Washington is full of monuments honoring our nation's veterans, and most are more imposing than the lights behind me. But few have a larger and wider reach. That green light is on the National Association of Counties headquarters, but it's showing up on buildings across the country this week as a symbol of support for veterans.
You shine a light in a county building, on a county landmark, and make sure that that green light speaks to veterans in the community and tells them that we're here for them.
NACO started Operation Greenlight for Veterans in 2022 to shed light on many challenges that veterans face. It is also meant as a reminder to county governments to work with vets and to say thanks to those who have served. For Navajo County officials, the decision to take part in Operation Greenlight was an easy one.
Our veterans in our communities will look around and from year to year just see more and more green lights glowing, letting them know that we see them, that we appreciate them, that we support them.
It's not just county buildings. Homes and businesses are involved. In Lake Havasu City, officials lit the famous London Bridge in green, and Wiseman says there are other ways for communities to show their support.
There's shining a green light, there's issuing a resolution, there's holding an event, there's creating educational opportunities. So we're going to be looking all week long to see more and more counties finding ways to connect with Operation Greenlight.
In the end, the message is the same. Counties across the nation want to find ways to make their veterans feel seen.
These veterans have served us so well. Each one of us benefit from their service, and we want to support them in any way that we can.
The Greenlight program started Monday, November 6th, and runs through Sunday, November 12th. In Washington, Alexandria Cullen, Cronkite News.
In the last year, Earth has been the hottest it has ever been in at least 125,000 years. Scientists are comparing the year's soaring temperatures, powerful storms, fierce wildfires, and devastating floods to events of a tragic movie. They say it is all a direct impact of record-breaking high temperatures due to climate change. New data shows the global heat is unprecedented, with climate organizations declaring 2023 the hottest year ever recorded in recent history. And that's it for the latest headlines. In the newsroom, I'm Emily Mai, Cronkite News. Now back to Beatrice and Paul at the desk.
Coming up next, the holiday celebrated by more than 1 billion people around the world.
That's right, we're talking about Diwali. After the break, how people from around the world are coming together to celebrate.
This is CN to Go. I'm Emily Olson with your Wednesday news briefing.
Do you want to create innovative content for Cronkite News? Do you enjoy listening to podcasts? Then CN to Go is for you. Cronkite News to Go is a podcast where students cover the latest headlines. Students become audio producers and hosts and will learn how to write, record, and edit stories. You can listen to the latest episodes on these platforms.
A massive celebration is going on this weekend, known as Diwali, or the Festival of Lights.
Yeah, Diwali is a national holiday in India, but more than 1 billion people from around the world will celebrate, including right here in Arizona.
The festival honors victory of light over darkness. You're looking at the video of the celebration held last year by Vice President Kamala Harris. Traditionally, people light candles and set off fireworks. Diwali lasts over several days, but this Sunday is the main celebration. So happy Diwali to all that celebrate.
Thanks for joining us tonight on Cronkite News.